What's going on, everybody? So today we're going to be talking about whether live resin is actually worth it or not in 2021, and what the difference is between distillate and live resin, and how you might need to educate yourself and your friends as well, because a lot of the wording and the way that the companies are marketing certain things is very misleading. We're going to get into that right now. Okay, so I have a whole bunch of packages. I like to keep the packages from my cannabis products. I just like to collect them. It's just something I like to do. Call me weirdo, whatever. But we're gonna go over kind of like what you need to look for on the packaging and in the branding to make sure that you're actually getting real live resin rather than terpenes that are from the plant, but that's mixed in with distillate and it's being branded as live resin or liquid live resin, right? So what I mean by this is we're gonna go ahead and look at one of probably the most obvious companies out there that was actually under a lot of fire. If any of you remember, Raw Garden, they were on a lot of fire for basically being misleading with their branding and the way that it's being sold. So on the packaging it says refined live resin cartridge, right? And whenever you see live resin, you're like, okay, it's a live resin cartridge, right? And the prices are pretty good. It's like $30 for a half gram and then like $50 to $60 for a full gram, right? So they're not bad prices at all. But what you need to look for is the ingredients. So if you go on the side, and the thing that actually got me, and I feel like a lot of other people, is because whenever you think of like live resin, you're thinking it's like the plant. It's like it's fresh from the plant. That's what you're thinking, right? So the way they word this is how they get you. Even if you don't you barely start reading the ingredients, you read these ingredients and you're probably gonna be tricked. So the way it's read out is 100% fresh frozen whole flower terpenes and cannabis oil. Read that again. Did you hear that? Right? 100% fresh frozen whole flower terpenes and cannabis oil. That means that they're using the terpenes from fresh flower that has been frozen, which is a correct process. It's a good process, but they're only using the terpenes from it. So there's no actual like THC or anything from the flower that they're using. It's from distillate. So what they're doing is they're mixing distillate and the terpenes from the flower so that it tastes like live resin, but it actually isn't. So it's just the way that they're marketing it. But if you look closely, now knowing all of these things, read over the box again. Refined live resin. Refined, right? You go over the ingredients. Whole flower terpenes and cannabis oil, right? They're gonna say no trim, no additives, ever. I mean, they're technically correct. They're not adding anything that they're saying that they aren't on the packaging, if that makes sense. You know, like they're saying that it's distillate with terpenes from the flower, but it's just the way that they're marketing it. So here's some other examples. So I got Cresco right here, and this is a half gram of their live resin. Now this is where you have to look at the ingredients, because it's not always it'll trick you sometimes, and this is what I mean. On the Cresco box it says liquid live resin, right? It says that. So you'd think, okay, it's like the same thing as Raw Garden. Instead of refined, it's liquid. It's like kind of a way of getting around it. But if you look at their ingredients, it says 100% live resin cannabis. That's all. So that is live resin. It's not the terpenes added in with cannabis oil. It's 100% live resin cannabis. So that's how you know it's real. Now let's go to another subject. Now, these ones are going to be quite obvious. They are more expensive, but the Stizzy live resin line, now literally these straight up say live resin on the front, right? And if you go to the ingredients, and ingredients on the back, live resin, full spectrum, whole plant cannabis extract. So you're getting the full spectrum. Now, let's talk about that whole like full spectrum, and let's talk about the real differences between distillate and cannabis. So distillate, it's really, so you have all these receptors in your brain, right? And Eric, he explained this the best with his diagram and everything, drawing on the whiteboard. So if you want to, go watch his video. He explained it very well. But the short and simple way to explain it is that Distillate is basically pure THC. It has no other plant material in it, so that's all you're getting is the THC. That's why it's so potent, and that's why it's a lot cheaper and easier to get, but it's also a lot easier to, you know, fuck around with and make it kind of dangerous to smoke in all reality. So with that said, live resin, all these receptors in your brain, if you're only smoking distillate, all you're doing is just overloading and stacking onto that one, like maybe couple of receptors, where it's literally just THC, because that's all you're getting from distillate. And when you're smoking live resin, you're getting the full spectrum, and what they mean by full spectrum is literally you're getting all of these different receptors. So it's like THC A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? It's like all of these different little plant materials that actually matter. Like you're getting a little bit of CBD, you know, you're getting everything from the plant. And that's why it's not going to be as like intense as distillate, but it's going to be overall a better, like more euphoric and more enjoyable experience. So if you're going from distillate going to live resin, you're probably going to notice that you probably won't get as high unless you take a tolerance break where you know, give it a couple weeks of smoking live resin, and your body will kind of, you know, get all the distillate out and level itself back out. That's really all live resin is. It's a balance compared to distillate, where it's just overloading with THC, and you got live resin where you can smoke a lot of live resin and kind of get yourself up there, but it's going to be a lot more balanced out, especially with the CBD and stuff to kind of mellow you out. So with that said, is live resin better than distillate? Let's just say this, it's the healthier option. It's going to be the pricier option, but of course anything that's going to be healthier for you, it's going to cost more, because it's a little bit more of a process. It takes a little bit longer, it's a little bit more careful, but you're getting what you pay for. And I know the taxes are horrible, especially in California. I know that the taxes are just bad overall on cannabis for most places. So let's go ahead and go over some other examples. Something that I actually did not realize and I feel pretty stupid on, and actually shout out to Eric Kahn for pointing this out, but these are the same thing as raw garden. So with all of these cookies carts, now they're being sold at a premium price, right? It's like this designer weed wave that's going on. Now they're being advertised as premium sauce carts, right? And this one, the Grandiflora, is even just advertised as a vape cartridge, right? So if you go to the ingredients, actually I think this is just distillate. Yeah, this isn't even like full spectrum like live resin. Yeah, no, literally the only ingredients is cannabis extract, and all they're showing is the THC and CBD. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, let's just say that these are basically just distillate with maybe a little bit of live resin terpenes in them. So, I'm sorry, Cookies. I love your brand and everything, but like, come on. Like, you're fooling the people out here, man. It's not cool. And even if it is distillate and it is clean distillate, it's still not healthy to be only smoking distillate. If you are though, I would definitely recommend to switch it up a little bit. Go from bud to distillate if you can. I understand the convenience is the main reason why people use cartridges, but just know that if you are only smoking distillate, your tolerance is gonna be broken like super fucking quickly. And yeah, it's just it's gonna ruin your experience of cannabis overall. So overall, it's not worth it. It's good to smoke every now and then. I mean, if it's honestly good to not smoke it at all, but if you want to smoke it maybe every couple weeks or so, I would recommend it. But that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Today's Wednesday, so I'll see you guys on Friday, I believe. So yeah, peace.